everybody, this is Krellian. Welcome to my tutorial for Thermal Expansion 3. For those of you not familiar with what thermal expansion is, it's more of an early game technology mod. It's a lot easier to get started and get running than things like Industrial Craft or Greg Tech. It also can't do as much. But it makes up for that by how simple it is and the fact that you can get this started easily within the first couple of hours of starting the world. Right here, these are the three things you're going to have to be able to make to start this mod. The first is the crescent hammer, which requires 1 tin ingot and 3 iron in this pattern. The crescent hammer is what allows you to change the facing of machines, to pick them up without breaking them, etc. The leadstone energy cell frame is required for all of the energy cells, which are your batteries, pretty much. Very large batteries that can store a lot of power, so that if you have a remote system away from your base, say doing stuff with your farm or something, with another mod, you can use these to have a power source over there and periodically rotate them out and refill them. And the machine frame requires 1 gold, 4 glass, and 4 iron. And this is the core component of pretty much everything else you're going to see through here. These are your power generators. We'll start with the simplest one right here, the steam dynamo. Needs water and either coal or charcoal. Water you can be supplied easily by just doing a setup like this and having an aqueous accumulator and some fluid pipes. It can store up to 40,000 RF in its own reserve, but it doesn't generate very much power at any one given time. I forget how much it generates per tick. I think it's like 8 RF. Here's the magmatic dynamo. Still only the same storage as a steam dynamo, generates power a lot faster. Is also harder to keep fueled because it has to have lava. So unless you have access to the nether, this one is going to be rather difficult to keep fueled. But once you get to the nether, this will be really easy to keep full, especially if you have ender storage or anything like that here. Or even if you're using tesseracts, which we will talk about in a little bit. Compression dynamo. This one uses liquid fuels. Fuel, biofuel, liquefied coal. It can pretty much use any liquid fuel from any other technology mod. Oh, maybe not any other, but all the ones that I know of that are really popular. Anything like Buildcraft, Industrial Craft. All of their liquid fuels can be used here along with the thermal expansion fuels. This one requires a fuel over here and a liquid coolant over here, which either has to be water or can't think of what it's called right now. There's it's a coolant from thermal expansion. It's not pyrotheum. I think it's there we go. It is gelid cryotheum that this requires, either water or liquid gelothium as a coolant. And here we have the reactant dynamo. This one, it's going to be really expensive to power, but when it's running, it generates a lot of power really fast. I say it's expensive to power it because, one, you need energized glowstone. There are other things you can use, but they're nowhere near as efficient. And you need nether stars. You can use any other potion ingredient, but nether stars by far generate the most power. And it's really not worth using this until you can do nether stars and energized glowstone. We'll talk about how to get energized glowstone here in a few minutes. Energetic infuser. This is pretty much to refill batteries. Not the big ones, but there are small ones that I cannot remember the name of at the moment. but which I will show you right now. So these, the capacitors. These are used for powering individual machines that are not connected by redstone energy conduits, or any energy conduits. And if you have Tinker's Construct, they can also be used to power tools that have been given the redstone flux quality. It's rather slow, but it does the job. Over here, we're going to start the igneous extruder. This allows you to make either cobblestone stone or obsidian without having to set up huge areas in the world as cobble gens or obsidian gens. All it requires is a tank of lava up here. And, well, it requires an input of lava and an input of water. I'm not sure what happened to that lava tank, but things happen sometimes. Turn it on. And it starts using up the lava reserve and the water reserve. And starts making obsidian. That's the only thing I really think of you would use it for. If you have a reason to need a cobble gen or a stone gen, then it'll work. And it takes up a lot less space than doing the traditional ones. Glacial precipitator, same thing as the igneous extruder, just with snow and ice. It needs water and it needs power, and it will make you whatever you need of those three. Fluid transposer, we're going to talk about this one in the magmatic crucible a little later. I just wanted them over here to show you guys that these are two of the machines that you're going to need. They're more of a mid to late progression in the mod. You're not going to be worrying about those early on. Induction smelter. This one does some nice stuff as I'm showing you here and have it set up. Iron ore and rich slag put together gives you 3 iron ingots. Here's the catch. One of the few ways to get a hold of rich slag is by doing redstone and sand, which will give you a redstone block per piece of redstone ore. So it's even more efficient than going out and mining with a Fortune 3 pickaxe. Over here we have the sawmill. Put in wood. You get 6 planks per block, and you get sawdust, which you can then compress down into compressed sawdust, and then use that to make charcoal or paper. Pulverizer. This one's pretty simple. It breaks down your ore into 2 dust, each of which can be smelted into an ingot. Tesseracts. These are fun. These are a mid to late game, but they allow you to teleport things like power, fluids, or even items, as long as they're paired with another Tesseract with the same frequency. And these down here are your different sizes of strong boxes. And what a strong box is it's something you can use. It's a chest that after you set it over here to its permissions, you can set it so that anyone can access it. Restricted people can put in but not remove. And owner only, so you're the only person who can interact with it at all. So those are really useful on multiplayer games. And over here, I have a Tesseract paired with that one over there. And here's our magmatic crucible and fluid transposer. Now with this one, I'm going to show you one of the fun things you can make with this. Ender pearls. You are going to need a lot of them. It takes something like 30 ender pearls to make 1 tesseract, because you need a lot of liquid resonant ender that you can then use to make other that you can use then to make enderium ingots and such, so that you can make the tesseract. And over here we have a pulverizer and a redstone furnace set up together. Now, this is how you set it up so that you can send something straight from one machine to another. So from a pulverizer to a redstone furnace, or a magma crucible to a fluid transposer, or any other connections you might have need of. So here, you're going to shift and left click on the center facing to clear anything else out that'll be there. And then, okay, this is the pulverizer. It's on top of the redstone furnace. So I'm going to click until the output is highlighted. Now, here I made sure that this area here is highlighted on the top so that it's accepting from the stuff above it. And then have redstone control on both of these machines set to off so that they're constantly running at full power and speed. And over here, I have it set so that the liquid that's being generated is sent over here. And the blue here goes to there. And then this, the output, is put to the top where there's a chest. And you can set the output to any direction except the front. So you can have outputs and inputs from the top, the sides, the bottom, or the back. Now, power does not need to have the machine set to receive from that side. Whatever side the power is on, it automatically processes and comes into the machine. Now come back over here. Yep, it's finished now. So now if I needed to, I could bring this down to, say, here. Pick this up with my hammer, with my wrench, hammer, whatever they want to call it. Set it back down. Now it's empty. So now, oh, where'd it go? It was destroyed. But now what would happen is I would come in, I'd place it here, and it would fill this up. So just to show you that, I'm going to cheat a little bit. Grab the full one. And the power is now being transferred from the capacitor into the machine. And to find any of these recipes, how to make anything, as long as you have NEI, all you have to do is come in, go to this down here and type in at thermal expansion, and it'll now have all of the recipes for everything that can be made in this mod. So I would click, okay, I'll start with the redstone furnace. I want to make one. I'm going to click on it and click R. And here's the recipe. It needs a piston, 2 flint, 2 copper, a machine frame, and a reception coil. I forgot to put these down there apparently, but coils are also the things that are going to be required for all machines. Most of the early ones just need one of these redstone reception coils. So that'll be 2 redstone and a gold. I think the exception is the steam dynamos need a transmission coil which requires silver. And that's pretty much everything in this mod. That's about everything that can be done with it. It's a nice early game mod to help double your ores, give you a little more wood, and just help make things a little easier. It's nowhere near as powerful as something like Industrial Craft, but it's also nowhere near as complicated. So all in all, I like it. It's a fun mod. It lets you do a lot of stuff early on, but once you start getting into more late game stuff, it becomes insufficient, and that's when you start transferring over to something like Industrial Craft or GregTech, whatever you have installed for your game. Although GregTech changes everything. I will eventually do a tutorial for GregTech to show that, along with Industrial Craft, BuildCraft, and any other mods that you guys want tutorials for. If you have anything in particular you have questions about, just leave a comment, and I will try and answer your question or get a tutorial up for that as quickly as I can. Thank you for watching. I hope this has been informative and has helped you guys out.